Hey, You Will Make It TV, followers, viewers, supporters, and listeners across the globe. Thank you for tuning in to another live, insightful topic here with the You Will Make It TV YouTube channel family, where we share inspirational quotes, divine messages, and insightful topics weekly. If you're new to our channel, welcome. You're invited and encouraged to become a subscriber on this beautiful, lovely Monday. Clicking that golden subscribe bell uh, puts you in the loop to receive notifications every time we post new content. And we never share that message in hopes for people to be weird. When we say follow our content, we mean follow our mission, follow our goals here as far as raising a vibration, one of the planet, of the community, of the environment around us, one inspirational story at a time. So, welcome. We're happy to have you. I'll just be giving some insightfulness, commentary, and reaction to the newly released Netflix PDiddy documentary. So, stay tuned. So, yeah, what inspired this topic today? I guess we can consider this part two because I was on the other night giving a slight insight of my commentary and reaction, right? Because that's just a viral topic right now. What everybody thinks, what they see in between the lines, what they feel should be this or that. But I'm just one more. I had to come on here, uh, and give my reaction. So I was just thinking about the young lady who who they used to go live with sometimes. And in those lives, it would be, uh, I'm sorry, it would be Mr. P. Diddy, his sons. I never really seen the daughters in the live with the girl Ava Combs. But it would definitely always be like the sons around and other guys. Not saying that means anything just yet, because I just wanted to see what you guys' reaction is to this. But uh, he even said it on live, like something. He was like, "Tell everybody how we met. Tell everybody how you end up living over here, or something." And sometimes, because I'm trying to point something out, people would try to put kids in a position to explain something that they're in no capable. Right? We know they can talk. We know they have a minimal understanding about life and the world around them. But certain questions, I just feel like you shouldn't even ask kids. And I didn't say conversations. I said straight up questions. So let's say your adoptive dad, your real dad, anything asks you a question that you don't feel comfortable with answering. You think an adult don't understand when a young person does not feel comfortable answering the question? Cause like I could see it all over that live video he did with Ava, and he was like, tell the people how we met." She did not look comfortable with talking about that. That's just something I had peeped when I watched that live back then. Anytime when people go live, you got to pay attention to that. Like, are they even on live at their own will, or is somebody forcing them to go live? Especially when it's a kid in the footage, like. So we should talk about this more because we know live streaming and all these different streaming activities is like a very, very big trend today. Whether people do it for business, personal pleasure, and leisure, or they just enjoyed it to go live. It's also been a lot of crimes like took place right on live. Sometimes they're accidental, right? Like people playing too much on live and then somebody get hurt. What else have we seen? Just a lot of different stories lately. of like incidents. There was that one couple in Houston. They were just out doing food reviews like they always do with their Ring camera and their footage and everything. And they get hit by a car. Like the car rams into the restaurant while they're on live and literally hit them. It didn't hit them, but it hit the area they were sitting in. And it seemed like they got up just in time. But even with that story, which that wasn't that long ago, that was sometime over the summer, even with that story, I remember coming on here going live. Y'all feel free to tune in to previously recorded segments just like these as well. They were like food review couple, right? They would just travel to different restaurants and do these reviews. But I remember saying that I thought that was really weird that that car randomly bumped into where two influencers were sitting in that restaurant that day. I need to go back and look up if there's been any updates as far as that story. Cause like, did they ever find out who it was or who car it was? I mean, what happened? Maybe everything can't always be public information, but it's scary because influencers want to know. Obviously, I just don't think that was random at all. You got to pay attention to those incidents that people just want to look random. We know random when we see random. We feel random when we feel random. And if a person's intuition or something in them say, no, ain't no way. Like with that story, how did a car just randomly crash into a restaurant right there where two influencers were recording? And then why is this story suddenly quiet? It wasn't quiet when it happened. It was all over the news. But then, as you know, with most news stories, people move on with their life. They just want to have something to talk about. But I was more thankful that that couple actually survived it. You know, a car ramming into a place that can like hurt you. They can do serious damage. They might have got a few shards of glass and cuts, but other than that, they came out completely unscathed, untouched, and I just felt like they were really blessed. Or maybe that was just something for them to see. Like, you got to be careful traveling as an influencer, trying to record content in new places, period. So back to what I was saying. I just, that alone proves what I'm saying about live streaming. You know what I'm saying? How many stories have we seen already? People out, they not even in a home, like they out and about, live streaming, trying to show everything they doing. I'm not against it. I just really encourage people to be careful with it. Even for the holiday season, it's not a bad time to give that encouragement or that advice. You know, don't let the internet, we were saying on the live stream, on one of the last topics I did, you know, you got to remember not to let the whole internet replace your life. Like, people probably think I need to hear that. I'm saying it because I learned it my own way, but I never feel like I wouldn't want to let technological devices and stuff like this like take away from my real life experience, if that makes sense. But some people run to the internet to hide, to hide. I don't see how you hiding coming to the internet. You feel me? That was one part about me as far as the rumors that was going around. Like, a person ain't trying to hide too much if they on the internet now. But boundaries are a real thing, right? Privacy is a real thing, or setting certain standards for your life is a real thing. Like, you don't have to just let everybody openly be in your space and in your business because you're on the internet. But coming to the internet does not mean you're inviting people into that. They would like to play that card and say that. But what it is, I feel like you have to find the balance. At some point, this conversation was going to come up anyway, because you do got a lot of people replacing their reality lives with their internet lives too. And what do I mean with all this? He actually made that girl get on live with him one day. The Ava young lady, Miss Ava, this young lady he supposedly adopted. And he was like, tell the people how we met. Tell them I'm a great father and all of this. Like, so people found the live strange. She might not have looked dismantled or anything y'all feel like she should have looked like if you're being abused. But she was pretty much being forced to like say whatever on live, right? I mean, if you're a young lady and your adoptive parent tell you to do something, you're going to try to be as obedient as possible, right? If you any child, an adult, that's why I don't like that personally, especially when people know you have overall obedient children, right? Like, I wouldn't say that makes your child gullible, or I mean, they already vulnerable, they kids, or it don't make them stupid, but most children are going to try to obey what an adult tells them to do. Now, I only respect the Bible and bring it up at this moment because there's a whole scripture that talks about that. Like in Ephesians, it say, children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. And people throw that scripture around, but it does say in the Lord, you got to teach your kids. Now, of course, if they asking you to do something that just don't feel right in your bubbly guts, in the back of your brain, in the back of your spine, you know, uh, you do your best. But a lot of kids, though, they might just obey because they're told to, especially when it's an adult instructing them to do something. And I hate the scumbags of the world that try to make kids feel like, no, you got to listen to me because I'm grown. I was saying that the other day. They better be glad I'm not a kid these days with what's been going on in the world, because I know the level I was at when I was a kid. And sometimes you did just bite your tongue to be respectful because you're a child. When you knew things was wrong, or you didn't feel right about this or that, or you wanted to speak on this and that in front of this and that person's face. So my heart went out to Ava when I saw that live like that. He wasn't necessarily telling her to do nothing wrong, but he was like, tell the people introduce yourself. And then she started off saying her name and age and sign. So people found that as a sign that something went right. They was like, why would she immediately start talking about what her birth sign is? You feel me? It was more like she was prepared to do some kind of ad, or I don't know, right? I'm just repeating what trending comments were saying at that time. And then it's weird because we never really seen the girl like on the internet or go live no more after that. I think I seen something recently where she came out and made a statement or a comment. So I think she's okay, but it's just like, where is she? Like, how is she feeling through all of this? Everybody just talking about, oh, PDiddy kids. Like, okay, he claimed he have adopted kids too. How is she doing? Right? So this brings up the other insightful point that I wanted to bring, right? Y'all just be taking people word for when they be like, oh, I adopted this child. Like, I don't know, I wasn't buying it when P. Diddy was saying that about that young lady, Ava, right? And you think bringing her to the camera saying, oh, he's a good man, everybody was just supposed to turn their head, oh, okay, well, she fine. She with a rich man, he adopted her. You gonna stop thinking just because a person money is better, that's a better placement for somebody's child. That's crazy. Of course, anybody that raises a child gonna need some money. They say over an 18-year span, the average parent spends at least $1 million on one child through an 18-year span, though. So don't misquote me. I didn't say in 1 year or in 10 years. In an 18-year span, if you go back and calculate everything you spent for 18 years, you probably gonna be surprised. Like, man, from bills to everything this child needed, I done spent almost $1 million. It's just okay, you didn't spend it all at one time. But yeah, from bills to the car notes, everything that you use to take care of that child, you probably did spend that much. But see, that's the difference. When you sign them to your label, they do not make them your child. You notice Ava was never put out there like, oh, we're trying to make her a star. Not in that way, like a musician. It don't mean she didn't have any talents or, but if a man like P. Diddy adopted me, I'd be like, hey, new dad, when do I get to get in the studio? You see? I might have a few talents. Look, I want to design some clothes or be a makeup. No, like, we don't know what else she do. You see what I'm saying? You only wanted her to come on camera, make it like, I'm a good dad, right? And what else he said? He was like, tell him. Okay, so I think she was explaining. She was walking down the street and she came over to play with his daughters. Okay, so still, how does that turn into you adopting her, bro? My kids go outside all the time. They might meet new kids. The new kids might even come over, or like they would have to, because I don't really, and my kids know that, so I don't know why they'll try to ask, like, hey, can I go to such and such house? Going to somebody's house, spending the night, two different things. You know what I'm saying? You got to really get to know people before you letting them have sleepovers and stuff. And some of the parents will look at you crazy, like, oh, you're too strict. You're not trying to let your kids have a life. Why? Because I'm not so quick to let them go to some sleepover. Why the sleepover can't be at my kids have a home? Most of the like that's a whole nother topic. But it does matter because like you want kids to be kids, right? And I think he was trying to explain that he connected to Ava through her playing with his daughters, because we know that P. Diddy got his own daughters or whatever. I don't know how he met her, but maybe they are looking into that. Like, where are her parents? And okay, you say she was just alone and walking down the street. That is so stupid. And that's how people try to do that too. You should ask more people. And what made me think about it earlier was like, you would see people, or I've been through this. Let me use myself for example, so I don't offend nobody, but you could have a group of 6 kids with you walking through Target, but those that know you knew you only had 4 or whatever. And they'd be like, are all those your kids? A complete stranger. Now I can answer I can answer one of two ways. I can say it's not your business, right? Because you're a complete stranger. But usually they're just trying to give a nice gesture and say hello. And they'd be like, are all those your kids? And it's been times where I'm like, oh, well, these 4, I just thought it's rude to be like, these 4 are mine, but these 2 not. These they friends. Like, don't nobody have time to answer all those questions, but I do respect people asking it, because sometimes you do got to ask. As long as these kids' parents know that they're with me, whether I'm babysitting or going to a trip to the supermarket, it doesn't matter. You might be out in public and somebody asks you, are all those yours? Are all those your kids? Well, when they all really mine and I'm with my 4 girls, I'm going to answer yes, right? Because, or really, I don't owe you an explanation at all. But if you see me with a whole group of kids, like I'm more on some homeschool tutoring, or I might be doing some after school care, or I might be babysitting, then it gets tricky. Like, how do I answer this question? It's a whole stranger, and I'm trying to protect the identities. I shouldn't have to give out the identities of the kids I'm babysitting just because I'm at the supermarket. What you mean? Like, so it kind of puts you in a position like, how do I answer this question? The lady just asked, oh, sweetie, are all those your girls? See, that lady don't know you like that. The people that know you only got 4 kids, right? So I would try to be proper, respectable. I might just answer yeah. But you got to be careful with that these days. Well, this young lady said all 8 of those kids were hers when I seen her in Target. Well, duh, I didn't mean technically. But yeah, they on my time. They on my watch right now. Their parents or whatever. Their parents might be paying me to babysit. Or they might have asked to go to the store with us because one of my daughters might be their friends. But only real parents know what I'm talking about. Because just because when you have kids don't mean it might not be other kids around you sometimes. And if people never see other kids around your kids, they really gonna think something wrong. Like, why they can't be social and be around other people's kids? My thing is, what about when you got all them kids and people like, is all those yours? I don't know why they asked it, but some people do. I personally have gotten that question a lot, even when it's just me and my actual biological kids out and about somewhere. You might be out to eat and somebody like, is them your kids? Sometimes they don't have to ask when it come to my kids, because they got so many resembling facial features and just certain things that tell you like, boy, them gotta be her kids, because they all look like her 4 different ways. But even then, you can't go off of it, right? For example, I might have used to take my baby sister with me sometimes back when I was younger, and people would easily mistake, and they'll just be like, is that your daughter? Oh my God, I didn't know you had a daughter. And I'll be like, what? I don't have no daughter. I'm only 16, 15. And they be like, oh, sweetie, you don't have to lie. I mean, I've been through every level of what you call what you go through when you have kids around you. But let me continue. They'll be like, you ain't got to lie. I mean, if that's your baby, that's your baby. You a young girl with a baby. And I would tell them. And I'm glad I kept my word all these years. I would tell people back then, no, sweetie, if this was my baby, why would I deny my baby? right? If I told you this my baby sister or baby cousin, that's what it is. And when I do have kids one day, and I was telling them like this at that young age of 15, 16, 17, you feel me? Just because I'm that age and have a little minor, like a little toddler little sister, do not mean that's my baby. But maybe that's what society was used to seeing. So then I would tell them like, yeah, but when I do have kids, trust me, you gonna know they mine. Like, why would I be out here denying them? Like one person told me, I thought your daughters was your little sisters. I guess because I look so young. So I just been through every level of this, and I feel like I'm a good candidate for this topic of raising awareness of how people should. If you're gonna be nosy about anything, y'all just be okay with seeing people walk around like you be knowing who their biological kids is, but you would just like, oh, that just must be her kids' friends, or there must be some family members. You know how many kids is walking around here with people who have never gotten adoption papers for them kids a day in their life? But I want to give my reaction and on this insightful topic really quick, because let me say this: I'm never against people standing up and wanting to help children in need, or children who might have parents who need a little more assistance. Like, I've never been against that. It gets deeper though. If that child gonna start living with you, traveling with you, you enrolling them, signing documents and stuff for this child, then what are you doing? Like, but see, the older days, y'all, I heard that's how it was. Like, you could just take somebody's kid in. That's what they would call it. Like, oh, I took little Jack in when he was 12. What you mean you took him in? You didn't go through no adoption process? It's too much of that going on, in my opinion. Because then you could just say, oh, I took this kid because this kid needed help, and I took this kid in. Of course, that's a beautiful thing to do. But let's get real. It's 2025. How are you planning on getting this kid in school? How do you plan on helping this kid get their first ID? All of that, bro. And you don't have any type of documentation or records that that's your child. Because it is your child. Once you adopt or foster in a child, like PDiddy was trying to say about the girl Ava Combs, right? The young Caucasian female, right? You could tell that wasn't his biological daughter. That's the only reason I'm bringing up her race. When it's obvious like that. For example, there's been TikTok stories of parents who did go through the legal adoption processes, right? And the parent might be white, but the child might be black, right? Or the parent might be Asian, but the child is white. And when people see stuff like that, they share their stories on TikTok of what they go through. Like, they say it's hurtful that people be judging them like, what that kid doing with you? They'll ask them in public just because the little girl or the little boy is black and the foster parent is white. They'll just automatically try to cause suspicious activity. Or if the parent is black and they literally have legal adoption papers, and they be out just trying to live their life, maybe on vacation, maybe on an outing, maybe running some errands, and they have to deal with the criticism of like, oh, whose child do you have? And the child be answering for him like, oh, this is my dad. They be a happy family. You see? And I feel those adoptive parents that have been through that, because even though I'm not an adoptive parent, I'm going to say, yeah, I go through that just with my biological kids. Like, people will question you, or they'll say you look too young to have all the kids you have. Ain't that something? You know, how a person look and their actual age is two different things. Of course, we could say the solution is everybody needs to mind their business, but I don't think that's a solution. I think nosy people are great when they use it correctly. Because look, you just saying, oh, well, Brenda's a good lady. She took in Erica's son. Okay, when you say took in, like, what do you mean? This ain't the 70s and 80s and stuff no more. If you took them in, it shouldn't be an issue for you to take it further and just go ahead and have adoption papers then, right? Court ordered papers that say, yes, we find you fit to take somebody's child in. You see, it's an interesting topic because people been taking other people's kids in for how long? Well, let me say in America. I can't speak for all the other countries, but I know people probably do this everywhere, like all over the world. It just looks a little off to me. Now, I wonder these kids, how can I say this? Like, you're not really giving them a good head start talking about you took them in. Like, some people, I'm like, why did you? Okay, a good example. Have you guys ever watched Medea? I was watching Medea last night, actually. One of the movies I had never seen. I guess this was a new one. I don't know why, but every single Medea movie, they have her taking in somebody's kids. Somebody asking her, "Can you help with their kids?" On all the Tyler Perry Medea movies, right? So at first it meant nothing to me, but now I'm looking at something. Cause see, when it's a woman like Medea, right? The character of Medea, who has a good track record of helping kids get back on track and get on the right path, why wouldn't people come to you? But even in the Medea movies, Medea goes through legal, like they have shown on many episodes or many movies of her actually having to go to legal proceedings for kids. Like the judge told her, this is a way you can serve your probation. You can help take care of these kids. And the judge would not order for you to do something like that if they didn't think you were capable. But it ain't that they don't make mistakes too. And when I say mistakes, I wouldn't say, I just know they make mistakes because sometimes maybe they place in places and then something terrible happen and people just be looking for somebody to blame. I don't feel like you should blame anybody but whoever's causing harm to the child. What do you mean? Or whoever made the people's living situation hard or rough. It's always a source. Always. I don't care what nobody say. When kids is involved, there is always a source. Just ask CPS. Just ask the nursing centers in the labor and delivery section of each and every hospital that exists out here. There's always a source. Every child came from somewhere. That's all I'm trying to say. You know, and they be trying to pretend like they can't find the source. If the source ain't dead, if the source ain't in prison, there should be no reason you can't find the source, in my opinion. Sorry, y'all, I had to take a sip of coffee, but I gotta get this out. So, because with Ava and P. Diddy, I still don't understand what they said happened. Like, she was just walking down the street and you invited her to come play with the girls, and then you asked her, do she need a dad? Of course, a kid might answer yes, but that don't mean, dang, I mean, I'm trying to understand what's going on here. So, you say you just took her in. Okay, so what did the legal proceedings for you to take her in look like, sir? Just because you're some rich man, some music mogul, does not mean you were the best choice for that young lady to go stay with. Everybody else talking about the victims and stuff, I'm still looking at that. Like, how were so many people trusting of you to take their kids in? Not all of us have that experience where people have literally came to you and said, look, Miss Whitney, I think you would be a really good, my daughter or son seem to really love you. Y'all click. My son or daughter is a whole different person when they around you and your kids. And I just feel like, and if a person were to come to me like that, I would be open to it, right? There would have to be the proper accommodations and moving stuff around. But what I wouldn't do is just take your child in my house right at that moment without any type of documentation that you agree to this. We both finna put some stuff on this agreement. You agree to go ahead and go to court with me and say this in front of a judge that you want me to have at least educational custody, like the right to enroll your child in school. We're going to have some things worked out on documentation, on paper. That way it's not any, because I've heard stories of people taking in people kids too, and then their parent come back years later wanting their child back. Them type of situations. Right? And the adoptive parents be looking at the parent like, no, this our child now. Right? And then what can the parent do? Because if you just sat there and let your child go because you was going through some drug crisis or some crisis, whatever the crisis might be, this is why you want to keep legal help involved. But yeah, back to what I was saying. That's why. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to raise awareness You can want to be a great help to anybody's kid. Good for you. But I hate, even though it hurts to say this, I'm finna ask a question though, for the sake of the topic. How much help is too much help? Or is there such thing as too much help? I gotta articulate my words correctly with this topic. You know, people need to wake up. It's a new time. It's the age of identity scam like never before. You don't need to be playing with no child's identity. Not saying you're trying to play with a child's identity by taking them in your home or saying, here, you can come here. I got a nice home. I got a nice bed. How many people are doing this? A church just got busted out there. Where was it at? In Houston? Florida? One of them. It wasn't just like they got busted and what they got busted for. To me, everybody was talking about that. I was more looking at like, wow, y'all had a whole area in the church talking about this is where we house the teens. Like me, bro, if I worked for CPS or kid investigation case work, I would always look a little deeper into that. Because you got all this room for stray teens. Where is their parents at? We would definitely look into that if I had my own team of investigators and stuff, because that's just not saying they're probably not. But you done had to shut the whole church down, arrest the leaders and stuff. Why did they have so many beds? You see, I know y'all think I sound evil. Like, no, that's a great thing, Arthur Tedasheri, for churches to have shelters for the kids. Because even I said that earlier when I was speaking on the topic. I was like, why don't more churches have shelters? It's like I'm stuck in between the two. But when I asked that, I meant for like grown people. Come on, man. These people come out of prison every day. Don't be having nowhere to go. I mean, these are just the facts. Women and men be coming home from prison. Some of these people come home for hospitals. Imagine being in a hospital for 2 months because you needed treatment for something. Whether it was your kidney, your lungs, there are serious things that can hospitalize a person, right? And who's paying your rent while you in the hospital? Those type of situations, right? And we're not talking about children, just grown people. These people be struggling to find help after they get out of situations like this. Number one, rehab, drug rehabilitation centers, prisons. What is the next place I was thinking of? I just said it. Anyways, people be coming out of situations like that absolutely homeless. But why you don't see church shelters taking them in? Maybe the churches feel like, well, you're a felon. We not finna help you. That's stupid. You have to know that even after the felony is committed and you get that charge and you serve your time, you got to start over somewhere. Maybe people feel like that ain't their problem. They shouldn't have did the crime that gave them the time. Then they wouldn't have to be looking for a place to stay when they get out of jail. But I don't agree with that. This is you will make it TV. Because who the hell wants you penalized and held to your past sins forever, especially after you've already served time? I just wanted to know. For example, when PDiddy get out of jail one day, like, are people still going to talk about what he did? Of course they are. I mean, people are not going to just easily reaccept you back into society, even if you're a rich man, like him. After all your crime has been exposed all over, or whatever they're saying you're allegedly. That's the thing about allegations too. Allegations have smeared some people's lives, and the whole time it wasn't nothing but an allegation. Now, as we know, some allegations be true, but let's really think about what the word allegation means and how many allegations have, how one wrong allegation ruined many lives, literally. You heard me right. It didn't ruin their reputation. It didn't ruin their character. It didn't ruin their money. I said how many lives have stupid allegations ruined before P. Diddy, right? So, like what they were showing with Tupac and Biggie, you know, I don't know about Biggie, but I know Tupac for sure served a little time here and there, even throughout his career. You see? Kobe Bryant, Tiger Woods. I can go on and on. You will never know to this day whether some of those allegations were true or untrue. That's the thing about an allegation. And why people be like, allegedly. They better learn that word. Because not everything people is going around saying around people. I'm trying to stay humble about this with the whole PDiddy thing too. It's funny. All they need is a few truths. You know what the devil do? He take a few truths and turn it into that's why they have to dig for them few truths so they can sprinkle whatever the hell it is they want to sprinkle on the rest of it. Well, I mean, we got footage of him beating on Cassie. We could say he did all kind of other things too. Which I'm not saying that everything is allegedly or not with P. Diddy. That's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm talking about why for so long, or maybe people didn't know, but I know they know. People say, I took such and such kid in. They brag about it too. That's why I'm bringing it up. See, because if you're really doing an act like that from your heart, what is it the whole world business to know that you took somebody's kid in? You do know that kid have a right to like privacy of their identity, whether they live with their biological parents or their foster parents or their adoptive parents or whatever the situation is, just some parent that took them in. Why would that be the streets business? You see how they make themselves look? See, I'm not calling no names. I'm saying how people make themselves look. Now, we can see if you go give turkeys to the homeless, or you go cut homeless people hair, or you gave out some Christmas socks for Christmas. That's something that you brag on. But really, even that, if you're doing that kind of stuff because you really are that type of person, see, the streets gonna speak for you. Period. Don't think Teddy Sherry don't know. Because Teddy Sherry wasn't ever out here doing things for people just to go talk about it. Period. So I'm a great candidate for this topic. Nobody selected or ordained me. I had to choose myself though. And it's showing people, maybe you somebody for choosing yourself, for betting on somebody that nobody would bet on. But I bet on myself. Period. I ain't changing. I ain't taking my bet back yet. I didn't do anything out here. I might bring it up when I'm mad about something. And it ain't about, when I say mad, I ain't talking about like mad about what they didn't do back for me. No. I might get mad. I might think about something. It's very rare. Because like I said, if you do something from your heart, you could care less after you do it, right? But like I said, to me, it's some things that you go brag on you did for people. You feel me? Then there's some things that, why do you need to brag on it? If you had to take in somebody's child because their dad was an alcoholic, their mama was on drugs, and they had a terrible home, right? Why is that everybody's business? Because, see, you wouldn't just be exploiting the family in whom you claim you're helping, right? You would also be exploiting that child. It's like you trying to give a code like, yeah, I got a child. I don't like how that look. Yeah, I got another one. I mean, are you bragging on it, or what's that supposed to be about? Yeah, girl, because like I said, you can easily be out in public, like I said, with your kids and somebody else's kids, and you ain't even raising them. They just over every day after school, right? And a stranger might ask you, oh, because they just be trying to be nice. Y'all know how it is, like, oh, are all these your babies? I done got that question so many times sometimes when I have other people kids out with me, but I want people to know in good faith, I cared about y'all kids' identities. I would never just telling somebody, oh, no, these just my daughter's friends. That ain't your business if you a stranger. Just know you see me with kids out today. Why I got to go into detail and tell you, oh, no. These four are mine. These two are just they friends. Wouldn't that be me exploiting their identities? But they kids supposed to be safe when they with me, out of the sight of their parents, right? That's what made me lose trust in a lot of stuff right now. Because it's like, even if my kid out and about with you somewhere, it ain't everybody's business whose kid she is. I give that respect if somebody kid out with me and a stranger asks, is that your child? Like, what? Because, yeah, one of the little girls might be Hispanic. The other one might be white. Because, my kids are not racist. Me or my kids, we're not racist. We've been known to get along with just about anybody. Honestly, that's a whole fact. Like, if anything, we attract people to us and stuff like this. Like, because people not finna want to go run around with a bunch of bullies. I don't know what kind of people he is, but we not like that. So anyways, you might see different... you see my daughter playing with a different race of kids. So what? That don't mean that kid live here or that my daughter lives at that kid house. Like, have we forgotten the original way? Like, it is totally normal for children to hang out with one another. Straight up. What's not normal, it's like they trying to denormalize the things that are normal and make the anyways, the Bible said the time was gonna come where they call evil good. God said it first. He said they're gonna be calling evil good and calling good evil. And I don't see how people don't see that that's clearly going on today. Like, times of today. Anything they see good, they gotta sprinkle some evil on it. I'm telling you. But the Bible, this ancient proverb text, said this long before I was even born. So you can't blame it on me. That what I feel about this topic, I think is true. There's truths in the Bible. There's truths in a lot of books out there. Period. So don't make it like I'm trying to make this a religious topic. But I think the Bible has some words of wisdom we can all use, especially through hardships and ups and downs in the country and people looking at each other strange. Since when? Let me tell y'all something. I feel like y'all been out here after the kids since the pandemic, honestly. You want to make them wear face masks? You name another generation of kids that had to go to school in face masks. Name them right now. Then I'll hear you out. But hear me out for 1 second. It's not easy. Grown-ups said it wasn't easy wearing them face masks. So just imagine what those poor kids were going through. Every kid end up having to get immunizations. Y'all know how they go to go to school, at least since the 70s. So, but you name another generation had to get the qualifiable vaccinations required by state law, plus some COVID-19 vaccine just so they don't get infected or try to raise up their immune systems. Nope. Only this generation of kids. So that was one of the first things I paid very, very close attention to. And I told myself, I'm going to keep watching this whole process. What other generation had LGBTQ laws and all of this stuff, changes happen while the generation was here? You never seen this stuff before till this generation. For some strange, maybe coincidental reason. But you know me, I don't believe in coincidences. It is something very special. When you're talking to Arthur Tedasheri, not just about my age generation of people, but the ones under us too. I'm not saying all the other people don't matter, or the babies that's soon to come, or the ones that's been here longer. We look up to y'all. We look up to you guys for wisdom and stuff. So tell me if I'm missing something here. What other generation did you see? It's like people don't want to consider. Oh yeah, that's another thing. What other generation did you see with unlimited access to internet and technology like you do today? Like, cut the kids some slack a little bit, bro. Like, do you see how much more they have endured in this one generation? That if you add up the 60s up to now, the past 40 decade, how am I trying to say this? Yeah, the past 4 decades, the kids in none of those eras went through or came into the world into some of the type of stuff that our kids of today are seeing. So you can compare parenting all you want to. You do that all you want to, sweetie boo-boo. But you cannot deny that times are much, much, much more evolved and different than the times of when you were raising your children in the 60s, the 50s. What do I mean? Milk, for example, costs $5. A gallon of milk used to cost $1.99, and that was just when I was a little girl. They probably hate that I remember that. I do. You could get a gallon of gas. It was like $1 a gallon. I remember all of that. Y'all probably like, why you bringing it up? Because are you finna sit here and say parents should be just the same as y'all was 30 years ago? And everything on the market, literally, the percentages have risen in price. And that's just a little bit of what I'm talking about. You know, a lot of things have stricter requirements now. It wasn't just like you could just go get on housing in the projects like in the 70s and then you can save up a bunch of money and like, what? No, there are way stricter requirements, especially for things like what y'all call resources and assistance. I'm going to speak up about it because you're not going to call people lazy to get assistance. Do you know what is required of them just to, number one, get approved? Number two, apply. A lot of these applications ain't even paper applications no more. So if you don't have access to technology to begin with, because you was already struggling, how are you supposed to go do a housing application? You can't walk up to the Section 8 office like the 70s, like you used to do, and go fill it out. And then I think back then it was like a 20-page pamphlet. It's still like that. But you could go in the office, they help you through the application. It ain't like that no more. If you can't get on the website yourself and fill it out, guess what? You're probably not getting housing because you can't even get through the application process. So anyways, that's kind of like what I'm talking about. Your income, like stuff like those income thresholds. I'll probably do some more research on it and come back with a insightful topic about it. Like how much income threshold requirements have changed since the 70s. Of course that stuff has changed. Things are not as affordable as they used to be. What do I mean by income thresholds? Like if you make over a certain amount, what you don't qualify for. That's been changed. I don't know what people don't understand, but let me go back to this. That part matters, income size and income thresholds, because if you sit there and take somebody else's child in, but you think that you don't have to report that, this how people be getting through. I don't mean to sit here and expose all the loopholes, but it's okay for other people to have what's they called, loopholes, but you want to point out where somebody else is getting assistance. Get out of here. Some of y'all be taking in people kids. I don't know if you're getting food stamps for them or not, but you shouldn't be. And you don't have proof that you like legally adopted that child. I don't get that. So the state is approving you getting benefits, and you done took in a bunch of stranger kids, 3, 4, up to 5 other kids plus the 3 you already got. That's the type of stuff you're supposed to be reporting, honestly, to the IRS, to the food stamp people if you get food stamps, to the housing people if you get housing. Am I lying here? I don't think so. That stuff is supposed to be reported. It is what it is. So I'm just confused. Like y'all food stamp people, housing people and stuff. Y'all been out here approving benefits for people who can't even correctly tell you like the business that's going on in their household. You know how they used to have housing caseworkers come in and check on the families? They need to really start doing this with food stamps too, if you ask me. That caseworker gonna come over there. Now your application say you only got 3 kids, but when I came over here, it's 8 kids over here every day. That type of stuff. We're not saying you're a bad person if you take in kids and help kids. I just referred to Tyler Perry's Medea movies about this. Like, if you notice in his movies, it's like it's never a storyline without Medea, and we see how old her age is supposed to be. I guess, right? They portray her as more like an elderly woman who has more expertise and wisdom in raising children. And notice he was putting these plays, sitcoms, and movies before this P. Diddy stuff even came out. Okay, so just keep up with me. They would always showcase like her trying to step in and help with somebody's kid. Because see, the people that came up in her time, maybe that was normal. You didn't need so much to prove that you're taking care of somebody's child back then. Anyways, I am trying to help people. All that do matter, especially when they was giving out stimulus checks, people was applying for PPP loans and all of this, but you can't be honest. I mean, if you helped raise a extra child in your household, why hide that? Why hide that from the IRS, the housing, the food stamp people? If you really doing such a good work, if anything, talking to those caseworkers, they could lead you to the proper offices and connections and resources to help you get more help for a child if you might be raising an extra child. Like, do people notice? You don't have to hide nothing from them. But then what I noticed, the ones that don't, you gonna keep trying to dig and dig and dig and see what they're not telling you. Like, no, some applicants are actually very honest. Trust me, when they get a car, they're gonna call and report that they got a car. If they find out about some new trust fund, they're gonna call you and let you know they don't need food stamps no more. That's another thing. A lot of rich people do adopt kids. I wasn't here trying to make everybody that taking kids look bad or nothing. But a lot of people that do that, I just say they need to do it the right way. Like, if you had somebody kid over 30 days at that point, yeah, that's pretty much your kid, right? The parent ain't came back, the parent ain't called and checked on them. Okay, what do you do next? And you guys feel free to leave your opinions in the comments later when I share this stream, but what do you encourage people to do? At that moment, of course, you're not just going to let a kid stand outside cold and hungry when you can help, right? So, they could go drop them off at foster cares and stuff if they want to, but they're not bad people if they choose to open up their home for a kid. I do agree with it. You're a bad person though if people just don't see the kid no more, they can't find the kid, or somehow the kid's life progressively gets worse just because you thought you could house somebody kid. Like, it's crazy. Now you're the accountable party. That's why that matters, right? Like, who's actually written down on paperwork to be responsible caretaker for a child, because if something happened to that child, everybody's getting the fuck investigated. What do people not get about it? But you keep trying to mask and cover up. You got the kid in this house, then that house, then this place, and that place. No kid deserves to have to bounce around and live in 100 different places. See, that's called, they say a child having stability kind of grounds them and prepares them for being an adult. If they're raised moving around everywhere, 9 times out of 10, what you think they're going to be doing when they grow up? Honestly. They ain't gonna know nothing about stability, nothing about being raised in one house for the rest of their life, because, the average person buys a home and then just raise their family in their home. But, a lot of kids don't know that luxury. They moving from place to place to place, especially with these foster care placements and stuff like this. Hold on, guys. I'll be right back. Yes, yes, yes. I'm back. I know it's like a midnight segment here, so I'm actually really surprised we don't have more viewers on this topic. But the point is to put the message out, share different insights and perceptions, right? So people don't get caught up in a bunch of mess and stuff later. Because, like, now I do agree. Kids of this generation, like I just explained about 10 minutes ago, they have just, period. The facts are they've been through way more, they've been exposed to way more than a lot of us were in previous generations. Like, none of y'all can say y'all had to go to school in a face mask for any reason. Period. And until you can, you cannot judge the kids of today the same way you would, and God isn't, just to let people know. And this face mask thing went on for the whole school year at some of these kids' school. Some kids got suspended, sent home. I'm trying to think of some other penalties, like let them not pull their face mask all the way over their nose at the time, like the teacher told them, and they could barely breathe. And y'all were like, well, we all gotta wear them. That's crazy though. You adults have to wear them. That was crazy to sit there and force people to, like, cut the circulation off for their child's breathing a little while just to go to school. I know we had to do what we had to do back then, but it was just crazy, bro. And then later you just gonna treat the kids like you can do them however. Do you know what some of these kids have already been through? Them games y'all used to play before? I just think God gonna handle it and judge it a little different with the kids of today, because the kids of today had already been subjected to so much, just pertaining to you could live in what you think is the safest environment possible. But yeah, the increases in child abuse, the increases in divorces, the increases in domestic violence, these statistics don't lie. The statistics in road rage drivers. You could be rich and have a car, it doesn't matter. Somebody too mad knock you off the road, then you don't have a car. You don't even have your life. So I was wondering, like, what happened to that young lady? Like, we just really didn't hear nothing else about her. You see, they'll show clips of his sons and his daughters and how they doing now, but where's the other young lady? Didn't you say you adopted her? Right now it's seeming like people do not, this would not be a popular topic. So I don't do topics to be popular. You Will Make It TV is a little different. uh a lot of kids were raised like somebody took them in a home, grandma, auntie, or even a friend. I'm saying it gets complicated though, because now that person can use that against the parent for the rest of their life. Like, I raised your child. Like, okay, but did you really do that from your heart? When you saying stuff like that, you should never bring that up. A child is a child. They had to have a place to stay, right? And if you wouldn't have been there, somebody, that's what foster care CPS is for. You don't hold that over nobody's head. And that's what kind of make you wonder with those type of arrangements and agreements and stuff. Sometimes, you think, all y'all out here think, oh, I could just drop my kid off anytime and go where I want to go. There are some grandmas and families out there that are that supportive, and I want to know, since when it's being supportive of a family member's kids against the law. We can see if the mother or the father is leaving for days, weeks at a time, never coming back to get their kids. Then you report something like that. Not to be funny, but they was trying to say, Krishan Rock be doing that, but that's her business. Now, you do put people in a position to want to report you if you can say that that person be leaving their kids with you for months and weeks, even days at a time. Come on, bro. That's going to look like you don't want your child. But you can't put that on somebody that's known to come pick their kids up. Like, you just watch them for an errand. You let them maybe sleep over for a sleepover. How is that person not wanting their kid? Try again. Them going out with others sometimes, you letting them have a lively life like that, a social life, and hang out with people. But like I said, you parents might want to watch that, because it be grandmas and family members. They'll bring that crap to social media these days. Don't think we don't know. They'll be like, yeah, look, this person. I thought that was so raunchy of Krishan's family to even do her like that, knowing that's her first baby. They couldn't wait to run to the internet and say, we be having Junior for days at a time. Okay, so, because you do know, if she were to give up custody, he would have to go with child or CPS, period, or his father. That's how that works. He's not the age where he can say where he want to go stay with. Like, what about them kids? And y'all just be wanting to stir up trouble around anybody with babies. Didn't y'all hear about that story in Chicago where them kids jumped that pregnant lady? See, the baby that was in her stomach couldn't control anything that was going on. That's what's sad about it. But you already being raised. You ain't even came out the stomach yet. You in an environment where your mom literally got attacked while she's pregnant. Okay, so I just had to mention it. Those environments and stuff do matter. But one thing about an environment, that ain't never had nothing to do with the person. Like, what one person came into a city and changed the whole city? What one person came to some projects or apartment complex and changed the whole place? They out there. I mean, look at Martin Luther King, people like that. It's been a long time since we had somebody come around and was able to change a whole geographic location. You'll never be able to do that. So now you make ends meet the best you can with where you stay, like most parents do. But ain't nothing wrong with a parent saying, oh, okay, well, you going to go stay with grandpa for a little while. I mean, I just wanted to bring awareness. Y'all might want to start being more careful with stuff like that. At least have your paperwork affairs. Like, so much is coming up happening to kids. You don't want to just, that's the only agreement. Yeah, I said they can go. That's it, huh? No paperwork signed, no agreement signed. Like, what if you want to come back and get your child one day? Which I've heard stories like this, like, and the people get so attached to the child, they don't want to get a child back. So, imagine how emotionally turmoil that is for a child to see their mother and somebody else fighting over them. That is so stupid. Fighting over them? A parent is usually not in the mood for nothing like that. Like, you want me to fight you over my own child? They'll create any reason to get a fight out of you, bro. Because, as a parent, that's what you're supposed to do. Fight for your child. And we don't always mean physically. This can be legally. This could be emotionally. This could be health-wise, which I've been through all of that too. When you got doctors trying to tell you what you should do, what you better let them do. No, you got a right to fight for your child. Because guess what? If they're in the custody of somebody else, they would have to do the same thing. That's crazy, but it's like they be wanting to take the power from you, the actual biological parent. But then when they have your child, so the doctor's just gonna agree with you, and suddenly the child is better. Y'all gotta open y'all eyes. Like, people pretending setups ain't real. If you get a whole bunch of people to go against one parent, of course it's gonna look set upish. You tell the doctors, yeah, make sure you write down she didn't take care of her. Then you tell the teachers, make sure you write down she didn't take care of her. And then you tell the caseworkers in the office, the rental lease people, anybody you can, make sure everybody write down that this parent was not trying. The whole time the parent got actual facts, receipts, proof that she was trying. See, you got to be more careful than that. A parenting is not just about, oh, this my child. Like, no, it's good. This comes with documentation. This comes with contracts. This comes with appointments. This comes with school records. What do you mean? So I never understood that when people be like, oh, I took this child in and put this child in school. Like, how did you do all that with no paperwork for the child? You said you just found the child walking down the street. Like PDiddy said about that Ava girl. I'm like, But I guess people thought because she was smiling on camera and talking that she was fine. That's crazy. Like, no, where was her parents at? She can walk down the street. How does that mean that she wanted you to adopt her? But maybe he don't have nothing to worry about. Maybe he did actually adopt her. I just was wondering, how do you do that without no court proceedings, without the other parent there? Like, what kind of stuff is going on out here? People will also, that's why I'm wondering who Ava's real parents are and what is their real connection with P. Diddy or whatever, because people will attach themselves to your child just to follow you. Well, if I become the child's friend, I'll always know her business. That's a weird way to think, ain't it? Like, I can't say that right now it's anybody's child that I'm willing to stay glued to, connected to. Uh, I gotta know where they at all times unless it's my child. I ain't never been like that about nobody kid. Like, I gotta follow you because I love your dad that much and I want to keep up with him. That's messy. Or I gotta follow you, young lady, because your daddy left me. So as long as I follow you everywhere, I'ma always see him. That's weird. So y'all not gonna tell me people would not try to, like, get close to the youngsters and all this. Teachers too. Anybody. You could be a professional or unprofessional. It doesn't matter. People do this because they waiting to hear the day that their child say, "Oh, I'm unhappy at home. Oh, I'll adopt you." Come on, man. Because now we don't hear nothing else from that P. Diddy. You said you adopted this young lady. Why we ain't heard nothing else from her though? Like, where she at? Maybe she don't want to be seen. She see all this drama and stuff going on the news in court, the documentary. Maybe she don't want to be around. And I do respect 50 Cent, might I add. Like, it seemed like for the most part, he kind of kept the, what's that called? Well, like, some of P. Diddy kids grown. So I just feel like he did a good job not crossing the line of exploiting. I can see them trying to sue Netflix because he threw information about his kids in there. No, bro, the whole documentary is about you, and you're grown. It mentioned his sons a time or two, one of them sons, but I respect him because he was able. There is a way you can talk about a person, and 50 Cent exhibited it. He showed it. You can talk about a person's life without bringing their kids in it. He just showed you on that Netflix documentary, didn't he? Period. That's my reaction. Cause like, what does their dad decided to do to people have to do with them? That's like, they need to. I really hope all those kids get trauma counseling and stuff, cause that's crazy. Like, just to hear the whole world talking about your parent like that, and you still got to try to pick up the pieces and move on with your life. Cause his twin daughters is young. That other baby is young. What's she, like 3 now? The sons and stuff is grown, but you got to understand, when you raised into something, you're not gonna know that's wrong because nobody ever told you it's wrong. Your own parent had you doing that. You feel me? Not to try to take up for his sons and call them innocent, because we don't even know everything about them yet. But it's just crazy that people are trying to call out his kids and different stuff. I mean, a few people were saying why we didn't see his kids get questioned. What, they supposed to get in trouble because they dad went down for something? People are stupid with it. As we see, nobody stepped up to, y'all claim he's such a bad man, but none of y'all try to take his kids or adopt his kids back in the day. And you know how celebrities is. When they got money, for y'all to be like, I wouldn't have let my kids stay with P. Diddy. You can't say what you wouldn't have did. When your baby daddy has money like that, he can take custody of that child, like P. Diddy showed y'all. He can take custody and never talk to you again. It depends on, that's why I say court is very important. Or maybe these women just felt like forced to do that. Like, okay, your daddy got money, so I'm finna let you go stay over there. Because, like, a good example, NBA YoungBoy or Nick Cannon, like, you do not see all their kids staying over there just because they rich, bro. It tells you a lot. Maybe these young men actually believe in their children being with their mother. I mean, they in their lives, you know. We see that NBA YoungBoy is there for every one of his kids, bro. And Nick Cannon. But that don't mean like they have custody of all their kids, bro. We know who their dads are. So to me, that's another thing that just kind of probably exposed the narcissism in P. Diddy a little bit, because it is crazy, bro. Like, you raised all your kids. We could call you a great black father, but did the mothers have any say so? And then look, the twins' mama dead. Like, it's sad. So with them, we understand them being with you, bro. Like, they mom passed away literally while y'all was together. That's understandable. But like, all them boys he got, they all got mamas. Y'all know there's just, I'll probably come back with a lot of parts to this topic because there's so much more still coming out. And now one of his son's mom, she's coming out speaking out about something. Other celebrity news stations are saying that she might be implicated soon and all this type of stuff. So I'm telling y'all, pay attention. How the hell does the dad raise the kid and y'all still trying to drag her into the Misha girl? Which, still, you got to let things unfold. But I'm saying, pay attention. How is you not even there? You gave the man whole custody of your son. All them years. That boy is grown now. I think his name is Justin. He grown now. But still, now, because your dad was arrested for something, the mama got to get brought up and be questions like, why? Because she had P. Diddy baby? Like, this is weird. I think they looking off into deeper stuff though, cause like they showed this picture of this other guy. They ain't trying to be messy, but that boy looked more like the other guy. He don't even look like P Diddy. People been saying that for a long time. That's the stuff. That's what this topic is about. Y'all just take people word. A person tell you, "Oh yeah, this my child." Oh, so that's their child. You can't lie to people about stuff like that. They gonna remember what you said. And if them test results don't come back, is that boy is your son, P Diddy? What do you look like? It's just crazy. Just like that's another thing I want to bring up. Just like young ladies can get pregnant at a young age, there are young men who have babies. A lot of these celebrities, I bet you they had babies at 14, 15. I'm talking about the men ones. And I don't care if they actors, whatever. You definitely had some type of life before you got into the industry. Like we seen with Jay-Z. Before he was even Rock Nation, before he was even doing anything with a label, this man already had kids when he was just living his regular life as a regular person in the streets of New York. You feel me? That man, it came out he had kids while he was a teenager. So let's clear up that stigma for 1 second. Young women are not the only ones who have babies. Some of these young teenagers make babies. Just because they didn't tell you about it don't mean that baby not out there. Somebody raising it. You feel me? And I'm so tired of that part of the culture. Like, people that have 7 kids and only want to tell people about 3 of them. Them 4 just gotta figure out a way to survive for the rest of their life. Then while they out there surviving, they got bullies and stalkers and all kind of stuff going on. They shouldn't even be going through, because they one of your kids too type shit. It's so weird, y'all. And when it's like that, but you see all the other kids being taken care of, hell, what else does it tell you? You know? Like, what else is it really telling you? And the families be like, "Oh, we didn't know about none of this. We didn't know that grown child was like with Jay-Z's son." When they question him about, "Did you know your son being bullied? People trying to hit him with cars, and did you know about that?" This man said no. Of course you didn't. You ain't even been calling to check on him. Come on, bro. So anyways, y'all claim y'all nosy, you can find out this and that, and you be in everybody's business, but it's still a whole bunch of people walking around here with kids that are not biologically theirs. I don't want to call them wrong, because somebody got to step in when a kid don't have nobody to take care of them. It's always been that way. Or if where they are is too dangerous or too toxic, it's always been that way. But see, they praise those like, "Oh, that's a person that take a whole bunch of kids in." Did you ask that person who gave them kids, where them kids came from, and if they have the proper uh legal paperwork for all them kids they got over there? Otherwise, that's crazy. Like, I'm just done with believing it in life. Just because I see a person that seems to be taking care of a lot of kids, they good, they can do no wrong. You do know P. Diddy had kids at his house all the time, right? So did Michael Jackson. It's just some of them, they known to literally like have kids around them. Usher Raymond was a kid too, I think, when he first met P. Diddy. Stuff like this. R. Kelly was a kid. He sat here and told y'all his story. Uh, and he was a male, Male, uh, of how he was being like touched on and molested by his whole babysitter, y'all. This is, if y'all don't believe me, go watch the R. Kelly documentary. I think it was a family member, but it was a babysitter. So this how deep it be. This is how the devil gets away, or has gotten away with this for so long. R. Kelly mama had to work. Just like most mothers, single mothers, you got to work more because you taking care of them by yourself. So imagine, y'all, he when you a kid, what you supposed to say? If you don't tell your mama nothing, that same person finna be babysitting you. But he explained when he tell his story, because he was a boy and he was a male, he didn't really know how to tell his mama that. You feel me? And it's just crazy, man. Like, cause that man, I think he have a few kids too. Everybody only talking about P Diddy kids and what he going through. Uh, I don't want to just scream justice for R. Kelly, knowing things he did to women too. But I will say justice for anything that happened to him as a child, pretty much, because like he probably wouldn't have committed the acts he did when he was older had that not happened. And this is why we are encouraging more men to speak up uh, about these things too. Just like some of these people involved with the P Diddy cases, we respect them and see it's those in the industry first finding more balls, more courage to speak on these things, because maybe more people out here will. You feel me? But they still be on that corny stuff laughing. Everybody that they've shared shorts and clips about that could have possibly been victimized by P. Diddy, it's real funny that people's first reaction is laughter because they're men. But the women, they saying, oh, that's so sad. What happened to Cassie? I'm not one of those, bro. Whether that happens to a young man or a young lady, it's still the same level of violation. How this that double standard? I do understand you men out there when y'all say that the justice system kind of be like that, because it do. Imagine a man trying to call the police telling him his 17-year-old babysitter, and he's only 11. His 17-year-old babysitter, I mean, they might just say, what are you calling us for? You're a player. You know, she like you already. They just look at everything as an effing joke. That's the problem now. Every time somebody makes some type of sexually related comment, you're going to hear somebody giggle or laugh. I just think that's strange now. They laugh like, oh, he made a sexual joke. Them men that said P. Diddy did that to him, what's funny about that? That's why I don't speak on this topic too much. It's too many sensitivities that surround it. Maybe we should let the ones that have never been through this speak. Let them laugh and chuckle. Because, you know, the real ones out here, they know. Ain't nothing funny about that. So it's just crazy, y'all. Like, anyways, he didn't have anybody. R. Kelly did not have anybody apparently he could talk to about what was happening to him. And that's just crazy. So if that's R. Kelly's story and he ended up a multi-millionaire one day in life, how many people with babysitters are going through this today? It's stupid. When they said babysit, they didn't mean in a sexual way. It's so stupid. Maybe because it's gone on for so long, and that's why I don't like that. Like, you would try to hurry up and tell the person, you need to go get some money, you need to work. Oh no, it's 2025 now, brother. We can get some money and work right from home. Because apparently you can't trust babysitters like that. Period. And his babysitter was like a teenage. She couldn't have been no more than 25. But I think if I remember the story correctly, she was a family member and she was a young age. Something about she had them going in the closet. Y'all know he's single, about trapped in a closet. People were saying they think that he was trying to reference that to like when he was gay or something. I don't think it had nothing to do with that. If you go back and listen to what happened to him in his childhood, oh, it had a lot to do with a closet. CLOSET, y'all. And he was a child, a little boy, and some grown-ass woman is already experimenting on you. So it's definitely a cycle that's not easy to talk about, but how many kids is still going through that? Because but you giving a parent a high five because they got a job. We is not finna put the spotlight on no one person. We better look at this with everybody. Like, who you say watching your kid? Oh, well, my child has never told me the babysitter did that. Just like with R. Kelly, he never really told nobody, but do that mean it wasn't happening? That's even worse. Now this person is getting away with it, and a child can't really get away till they grown. And people want to pretend they don't know how this go. That's the point of the abuser or whoever doing whatever. Threatening the kid. I think he said that girl used to hit him and tell him he better not tell and stuff like this. It's sad, man. Because I don't remember hearing none of his family members went to jail. Guess who they got in jail? R. Kelly. The one who was victimized. Not saying his victims don't matter, but hurt people hurt people. Period. Now, what are we doing about it? We're still letting people walk around here talking about, I adopted this kid, I took this kid in. Like, bro, okay, where's their parent? That's my question. Like, so there was no help you could give to the parent at all. The only solution was finding this kid somewhere else to stay. That, like, did you try to get a parent a new house? Did the parent need a car? Did the parent just need a better job? Like, that's supposed to be the point of CPS investigations. Honestly, maybe I don't know it all, but I guess people try to keep them out of stuff. That's why they go ahead and step in and try to help somebody kid, but that's suspicious too. Why are you trying to keep them out of it? No, let them stay in it. So even while you have that child at your house, they can come over and make sure your house is okay for the child too, period. So I ain't gonna talk about this all night long, y'all, but this is my reaction to, maybe I should go longer. Let me see. Oh, I didn't know it was 4 a.m. already. But yeah, they made sure, this is just my opinion. I feel like this is another video that they have, whatever that's called, blacklisted or shadow banned. But it tells you a lot. Why are we shadow banning these type of topics? Thank you guys for tuning in to another live segment here with your own Arthur Sherry. We will be back with more insightful topics going into the new week. Happy Monday to you all, and we thank you for your support.